What is up, everyone? Ikari Kenshin here. And listen, we're back, okay? Yeah, we're back. A lot of people were saying, you know, is Kenshin back? We've seen some videos. He's been posting some stuff. Is he back? I'm, I, I'm thinking I'm back. Okay, I know that was hella cringe, but I think I'm back. Um, Not as heavy as I was before, but I'm back. And the reason why I'm back is World of Warcraft, as you'd probably guessed by now. BlizzCon happened about 2 weeks ago by the time I'm making this video, and I got really excited. I saw the conference and I was super stoked, and I was just like, well, I gotta get back into this. This is the thing. So here I am, guys, back again. As the news comes out to us straight from the halls of the Anaheim Convention Center where BlizzCon 2023 was held, it awakened something in me. It was the announcement for essentially what people in the private server community would consider Classic Plus, something I never thought I would see. I mean, if you asked me back in 2004, when I first started playing this game, if I would still be playing WoW so many years later, much less expecting to see additional content original to the original framework of Classic WoW. The game that started it all, you'd hear me hysterically laughing. Like, what? Me committing to a video game for almost 20 years now, I know I love video games, but 20 years is a lot of time to put down. But here I am, 2023, and I'm still here for it. After this presentation, I thought to myself, what better time than now to come back to YouTube to making content. Now we'll get more into what you guys can expect to see from me and the channel in the future, but I'm here to talk about my thoughts and basically what was gone over in the announcement at BlizzCon. Okay, so going into this, I wasn't even planning on watching BlizzCon. It's not something I was ever really tuning in to watch, and mainly because Blizzard and WoW and I have a love-hate relationship, on top of the fact that I'm super busy all the time now. So that's the reason why I never really tuned in. And then also, being consistently disappointed with expansion after expansion. Legion and BFA, I'm looking at you guys like, So, I mean, I was like, I decided to give Blizzard one more shot because I'm at my wit's end with World of Warcraft and Blizzard. So I fired up my PC, I locked my fiance in the closet, and grabbed a drink in preparation for the event. And man, was I blown away. The devs talked about quite a few things, including what to expect from their other IP, like Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, which I thought, by the way, was absolutely on its way out the door. Like, I tried that game, didn't like it, heard lots of bad things. People weren't appreciating how things were going, and a lot less people, they were bleeding players, basically. They also announced their new mobile game, Warcraft Rumble, which I've been playing nonstop since it launched that day. Like, it literally launched that day while they were at the convention. And they announced it, I downloaded it, and I've pretty much played it every day since. It's a lot of fun. And for those of you that watched, you can't forget that memorable return of executive creative director Chris Metzen. I mean, this man stepped on the stage like he never left, commanding the audience's attention, addressing the Horde and the Alliance as he did so many times before he left the company. Only this time, it was more heartwarming and absolutely epic.
Executive Creative Director of the Warcraft universe, Chris Metzen.
Chaos! Horde, where you at? Alliance! Blizzcon, as one! Holy smokes, thank you.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes of why I have invited you guys here, essentially. The announcement of WoW Classic Season of Discovery, or as so many of us in the community perceive it to be, Classic Plus. The first thing that was spoken about by the senior game producer Josh Greenfield was discoveries. Now, he didn't go very deep into this topic as I'm sure he didn't want to spoil anything, which Josh did add that in the spirit of discovery, there would not be a public beta or a PTR. And for those of you who don't know or are unfamiliar with PTR, it's a private test realm where they host a private realm where they test out new content with players in real time, and then they take their feedback and implement it in the live game and all that other stuff. He wanted to not tell us too much to keep the experience authentic for everybody. He did mention that discovering new locales, mysteries, and treasures was a big part of what they were aiming for, putting a unique twist on how the game is played in the early game. Personally, it's amazing to see what other players come up with while using limited resources, mid-maxing items and abilities, and finding new best in slot combinations for maximum damage and healing output. That's some pretty creative stuff. Next, Josh spoke on how they would roll out content. At release, there'll be a level banded cap of 25 for the first season. And after an undisclosed number of weeks, the level cap will be raised and more content will be open to us, going from levels 25 to 40, 40 to 50, and then 50 to 60. So I'm sure you guys are asking, well, why level 25? What's so special about that number? Well, apparently, during the testing phase of Classic WoW back in 2019, the devs saw how much fun people around that level were having, exploring new locations, new ways to play, whether with new item combinations or different ways to utilize their spells and abilities. That inspired the staff to start brainstorming ways to keep that feeling fresh and to make it last longer, which I think is a pretty good idea. It would also give more casual players like myself time to catch up, because we all know not everyone has the opportunity to know life World of Warcraft these days, unless that is, a part of your occupation, streamers, YouTubers, all those guys. It makes the grinding aspect of it feel a little less cumbersome by doing it in phases, which I personally am excited about. And it'll give us a chance to play other games as well, instead of having to worry about getting from level 1 to 60 in one go. Being someone who has a full-time job, I can't afford to sit at home all day anymore and play, as much as I would love to. They also mentioned that there's going to be a experience boost. It's for previous level bands once a new cap is released. So again, respecting our time, giving us a chance to jump in for the first time or return from a break and not suffer from FOMO or fear of missing out. Raids. Now I know what you guys are probably thinking. Kari, what are you talking about?
What do you mean by that?
There are no raids at level 25 unless you count getting naked and raiding opposing factions as you mentally scar unsuspecting players.
We're going streaking through the quad and into the gymnasium. Come on, everybody!
No, there is though. They turned the Black Fathom Deeps into a 10-man raid. Okay. Hear me out before you leave the video. So what it is, according to Josh, is a reimagining of the dungeon. I know. It's not a total reskin or recycling, which is kind of their MO when it comes to releasing, or in that case, re-releasing content. But according to Josh, not here. For example, remember Baron Aquinas, that quest boss from back in the day? Yeah, him, the NPC that was totally useless after you got your quest done and no one even bothered to summon him after that. He's not a quest boss anymore. He's a boss. The first boss, to be exact, and he drops loot now. Loot we have never seen before. Look at you, Baron. I'm so proud of you. You're grown up. There will be new boss mechanics, and not even just that, but Josh said fully ground up redesign of those fights. Also, a world buff that you get from completing the raid that you could apply for raids later on as the cap gets higher. Think about it. BFD as a 10-man raid. For a level 25, I think that's pretty freaking cool. A very familiar place with new ways to experience it again, almost as if for the first time. Look, man, born again virgins don't even get that privilege. Rune Engraving. This was pretty much Blizzard playing around and having fun. Imagine using an ability like Crusader Strike for paladins in Classic, which by the way, we never got. Well, that's a thing with runes. As Nora Valletta, the lead software engineer, stated, these runes are a new spin on experiencing WoW Classic like we've never seen before. Having it possible for a shaman to legit be a tank or a mage to be able to heal. Runes are not as easily acquired as you may think outside of your first one though. That is pretty much given to you at level 2 to introduce you to the concept. All the other runes have to literally be discovered, hence the title Season of Discovery. They're found out in the world via different means and methods. So, for example, brought up by Josh in an interview, you could stumble upon a corpse out in the open world and it could start a chain of clues that will lead you to different locations that eventually leads you to a new room, which is a welcome addition to the game in my opinion. Exploring and finding new things and places was one of my favorite things about playing Classic WoW. The sense of awe you feel come over you when you happen upon something completely by accident, whether it be a named NPC you've never seen before or a cave tucked away in the side of a mountain you've never been to. I think the runes deserve their own video, so maybe we can talk about them another time. But feel free to go back in the video and just pause the video and take a look at the runes that I showed earlier. Alright, on to PvP. The devs announced that they're bringing PvP to Ashenvale with a twist. Side note, I think there is a good reason for why Blizzard is doing this with the raid and the PvP situation, and I'll touch on it towards the end here. But Ashenvale, it's a contested zone in the level range of 19 to 30. So for the first season, I would go out on a limb and I'd say this will be the end game zone where most activities occur. So imagine you're questing in Ashenvale and all of a sudden you see NPCs spawn in the zone. Someone has triggered the zone-wide PvP event, and now you're smack dab in the middle of it. The Horde and the Alliance both respectively get a named lieutenant. Along with those lieutenants, a number of small bases occupied by troops will also appear. The objective is to defeat the opposing faction leader in order to win the event. But it's not so simple. The lieutenants are pretty tough, so you'll have to work with the other players to destroy the camps that are around the zone to weaken them in order to succeed. Not to mention all the other opposing players participating in the event. So now it's an all-out war zone, and both sides have to fight to be the victor, while people are trying to raid not far on the other side of Ashenvale. Blizzard told us that there will be new gear and rewards for participating in the Ashenvale open world PvP events, and the reputation that we would receive would go towards the Warsong Gulch faction. They also mentioned a zone specific mount as one of those rewards. Now, I don't know exactly how that works, but I'm assuming that, once you reach Ashenvale, you can just pull out that mount, and only in Ashenvale you can use that mount. But that's one of the rewards that you can also collect, along with world buff items. So that's in addition to the buff that you get from BFD, which is pretty cool. I believe you can purchase those and then you can save them and use them for later raids, which is very convenient. So there are tons to do and collect, even though you're only at level 25, and I think that's pretty awesome. It's not instance based, which really contributes to the flow and the immersion of the open world. A lot of people are comparing this to Alterac Valley. Although there are similarities, I don't really agree that it's the same because, well, for one, Alterac Valley was instanced. And to be honest, what if it was? What if it is similar to Alterac Valley a little bit? Would it be so bad? I mean, at least we don't have to wait until level 60 to get that experience, right? That's a way to pull in newer players and give them a taste of something that they can expect to experience in the later game. Now back on my thoughts on why Blizzard decided to have this zone be the area for the end game. It's one of the first highly contested zones in that leveling bracket, and there's also a dungeon there, or now a raid. As a longtime player of WoW, if there's one thing I know for sure is that wherever there is a raid or a dungeon, there's gonna be PvP on a PvP server. People are going to be tempted to tap that one opposing character, and then it initiates a huge brawl. So we already know that's gonna be a thing. So why not have both in one zone at level cap? That zone, Ashenvale is going to be bumping at 25 for a hot minute, at least until the next cap comes out, right? That would make for such a good time. As Josh said on stage, Blizzard was taking a chance, and I think what that means is that releasing content in seasons is their way of really getting a feel from the community and how things are going and how to move forward based on that feedback. So do I think this is Classic Plus? It could be, or it could be a beta without being a beta for Classic Plus, if that makes any sense. Some people are upset about the word seasons because, well, let's be real. When Blizzard talks about a season or other games talk about a season, it's something that comes and goes. And I think a lot of people are afraid that once that level cap is reached and then we move up to another level cap, that content's going to be lost. And I don't think that's the case. I mean, just think about it. I haven't been this excited about WoW news or anything related remotely to WoW since the Burning Crusade back in 2007. And I am so ready to jump back into it for a fourth, fifth time. I don't know, but it's gonna feel new, and I can't wait till November 30th when it's released. I'm actually hoping to be able to make content on my journey through Season of Discovery and beyond. You know, my playthrough and just my overall reactions and thoughts on the experience. And I really would just like to share that with you guys and have you along for the ride. I'll also be streaming as well over on Twitch. My Twitch channel will be linked in the description below, and I really hope to see you guys there. I feel a good old-fashioned comeback in the works, and I appreciate you guys watching. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news down in the comments. I'm sure you guys have talked about it quite a lot up until now, but like I said, feel free, talk about it down in the comments. Tell us what you liked about BlizzCon or what you didn't like. I mean, I want to hear it. And if you feel so inclined, maybe, you know, play with that like button or the subscribe button. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Kenshin out.